Unbelievably, the world is ignoring one of the most important movements of our time, the struggle for justice, dignity, and freedom unfolding in the heart of Myanmar. The guests we bring on our podcast platform refuse to look away. Instead, they dive deep into the stories that matter, of resilience and resistance, of ordinary people standing up against extraordinary odds. While the headlines may move on, we seek out voices and perspectives that are all too often overlooked. And so we believe that Insight Myanmar is more than just a podcast. It's a platform that seeks truth, connection, and solidarity. And we're glad to have you with us.
And welcome back. Today my guest is Lin Jin Fu from the Myanmar Scam Watch team, and the topic that we're going to be discussing is a research paper that was commissioned again by K4DM, Knowledge for Democracy Myanmar, focusing on the scam centers. This is a topic that we've discussed a few times before on this podcast, but unfortunately the scam centers, like many of Myanmar's problems, do not disappear overnight, and not only do they persist, but in many ways they have evolved and become even more problematic than they were previously. So before we get into all of that, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your insight. And I want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself for our audience.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am Lin Jin Fu. I study especially scam centers across Myanmar, focusing more to not only to the southern part of Myanmar, but also nationwide studies, especially in Shan State or northern Shan or eastern Shan. And we also study not only study scam, but also focusing on the trafficking victims, especially focusing on Myanmar victims who are trafficked to different places across Southeast Asia scam centers. So yeah, and yeah, I hope this conversation will give a fruitful insights of what is going on in some scam centers and what's the situation in scam centers. Thank you.
Excellent. So for the benefit of the audience, the paper that we're talking about is Illicit Economies, Exploited Lives, subtitle, Responding to Human Trafficking and Abuse in Myanmar Scam Compounds. It has not at this time been made public, but hopefully it will be published soon, and as soon as we can, we will obviously try to attach a link to it in the description below the video, below the interview. It is harrowing, to say the least. It is deeply upsetting. So for those of us who maybe missed the interviews previously, where we discussed, for example, with Jason Tower on the scam centers, can you take us through briefly the history? Why is it that Myanmar and other countries like Cambodia have, over the last decade, and seemingly since COVID, developed so many scam centers that collectively keep hundreds of thousands of people effectively imprisoned within them?
I think the problem the main cause start from the word scam itself, right? Like if in like we have to understand like historically the scams in Chinese called 诈骗, right? The 诈 mean the house, 骗 mean the scam house mean historically the scam work in China is a kind of job. It's a kind of labor people are doing since the Chinese ancient kingdom. They have been doing this for a while. But it popular in the 60s, 70s, 80s around in China a lot. But later on, these gangs who are who are in China, because of the China government have so much restriction, they have to see the new opportunity to go across. But when they see it, they found a country like Myanmar, Cambodia, like like it's become where the rule of law, the governance is failing, so they see this opportunity and they grab it. At the same time, you have to see to that why the COVID is so impact on those scam center in China, because the Chinese block most of the border crossing across the Chinese territories with the restriction of COVID, and this make them to move out to implement their job difficult. So they move out more to all these Southeast Asian countries more and more than before. But we can say it is already there before the COVID, before 20-30 years ago, but it is more prominent after like 2012, 13, 14. It become more and more across like Southeast Asia, especially Cambodia, Myanmar. They have been in Philippines, and now we are seeing some of it. Not only the Chinese scam centers, but also other type of scam centers run by the Westerners. Like Australians run some scam centers in Bangkok recently. They are arrested by the Thai police. So we can say that sometimes people might target like, okay, scams are the Chinese work, but actually it is not. There's so many different people involved in it. We can say that's not only the Chinese scam people, but also it is the business, the criminal. There is no identity on who are they, right? But literally many people involved around on it. Yeah, thank you.
And I mean, it's unsurprising. I think from our previous discussion and in the documentation here, you have an estimate that the value of this industry or this phenomenon, really, because as you correctly point out, it's not just Chinese scam centers. The value of this phenomenon is in the scale of about $37 billion per year. Is that an accurate number? And also, because we are talking about such a shady criminal enterprise, how is it possible to evaluate the value of it?
I mean, maybe it's more than $37 billion. That's the point, right? We can go details. Like, we don't have details. We do have reports. We have reference, but at the same time, we think this is more than this, right? Because scams is a business that they run as scam, but the business that involve or evolve around the scams are the other business, and that has more semi. This include we when we are saying scam, the scam itself might generate 37 billion, but the side hustle from the scam business, like drugs, right? This is more than that. So scam business is not only scamming people, but there are also other business that is around that evolve with it, and I can say it's more than that. And we don't have the actual exact data, but this is what we have on a data purpose. But we can say it's more than that. It could be more than this. I'm sure.
Yeah. But so what is the methodology for calculating the value? Is it the value of money that victims report has been stolen from them?
This is based on the victim were stolen from the stolen from the victims, right? So the values are different on which, right? So for example, we don't have much data on like Myanmar citizen who has been scammed, right? Like we don't have. We have some Western reports like who have been scammed in the US or in the Europe. We have that data, so we can say, okay, this is what it is. But we don't have data of like small scams that are done to Southeast Asian or especially Myanmar citizen who get scams. We don't have those data on that, because we have to understand the scams they scams everyone, not only the Westerners.
Absolutely. And so So this is an interesting situation, because this is something that comes up multiple times. We know that the essence of the scam center is scamming people. It is taking money from civilians in foreign countries. So obviously the scam centers are not targeting Myanmar citizens because they don't have a lot of money to scam. And when we look at a country like China, we know that billions of dollars a year are being taken from Chinese citizens through these scams. And we also know that many of the people in the scam centers, in order to be able to communicate with Chinese victims, are themselves trafficked from China illegally. So the Chinese government should be very heavily incentivized to take action, to put pressure on organizations and governments to take action against these scam centers. Do we have any insight into what the Chinese government has been doing with regards to scam centers? How have they been trying to put pressure? What actions have they taken to try to return the Chinese citizens who have been kidnapped and try to shut down the scam centers that steal the money?
So we have to say this like two part they especially do, right? The first part is they focus more on the like tracking down the victims, rescuing them, which include the main event, like 1027 is one of the main event that we can say that they support the Three Brotherhood attacking all these camp centers across Laukkai, northern Shan, tracking down, demolish, bring back Chinese citizen who are the Chinese citizen, and at the same time some scammers who involved in it, including the four clan of Laukkai who uh, who has been taken back to China, and now they are on the death row, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's one part they do, or like big operation, like pressuring governments. Like also they did with like collab with Thai and forcing the Srikoko to release the Chinese citizens. They have done a lot on this part of like physical kind of physical uh, we can see the activities on like what is like the governmental like pressures and all these things that they have done. That's the first part. The second part is now they also focus so much on their social media now, because we can see in Myanmar, in Thailand, that doesn't that much detail on like, oh, scam alert, really small. But in China, in WeChat and Weibo, every day they will have 3, 4, 5, 6 articles about scam every day for their
Mhm.
Chinese citizen. Like they push a lot to their citizen not to get trapped to those scams, because they have this whole department running on social media campaign to stop this scam. So they are also doing that. So that's the two part they have. I think I can say they done well with the social media one. They raise really good awareness. We
Yeah.
might not see this in the international media how they are doing it, but if you go on WeChat Weibo every day, they have this a huge like operation like to track down those scam website, at the same time to push the people not to go to these places, because you have to stop them at least. So yeah, that's what they are try to do it. Yeah.
Mhm. And I'm curious. You mentioned a couple of things here. 1027 is definitely one that I want to touch on, but first I want to understand what is the relationship between the owners and the operators of the scam centers and the different forces that exist within Myanmar, whether that's relationship to the SAC and the junta, whether it's their relationship to the PDF, their relationship to the NUG, relationship to EAOs, EROs. What is the relationship? Is anyone here working for an armed organization, or are these criminal enterprises that are enemies of all of these groups, or are they bribing these groups? Are groups extracting a tax from them? How does this work?
So I might say there are. So you have to understand like we have to understand like when they came in, they need a host, someone who protect them, someone who can give them space, an area, and acres of land that they can establish as scam centers. So for this kind of thing, they need a help from the what can I say literally the territorial government, right? This
Yeah.
include But at the same time, we have to know these scam centers, which prominent scam centers are mostly in SAC control, the regime control areas, and they get the permission. Maybe the state might not give full permission, but the territorial regime control give the territory, and that's how it is work, right? So it's an illegal operation. So literally, most of these compounds are run by either regime or allies who are regime ally, especially like BGF, right? So they run most of these territory. So they give the security, what we can say, the scams outside of the scam center securities. That means with within the walls, the scams are run by different corporate securities, but outside the walls are run by the BGF or militia or groups that protect them, or junta that run the territory, right? So within the walls, this is based on different territory, right? You can say. So, for example, in Laukkai, the outside is controlled by Cook and BGF, but inside the compound, the walls, it was controlled by their own security companies. Right, so there are security companies that run the territory. They will run the securities. They will do all these things, and within these compounds, within these walls, there are scam centers, right? But for the scam centers, for the one building, one companies, they have their own security forces or the punishers who run the punishment. So you can say at least 3 layers of securities are around these centers, but it could be different on different location, maybe 2 layers, 3 layers, but that is what is going on in different location of how they run there. So we can say most of the area, but you have to understand, like, for example, Sri Koko, it was permitted by the NLD government. You can deny that it is happened during the NLD government. Like,
so this is the question, because you mentioned the border guard forces, the BGFs.
Yeah.
And the border guard forces are sort of quasi-autonomous, but they're largely seen as the allies of the SAC.
Yep.
Do we see examples of the EAOs or even the PDF / the NUG post-coup providing this type of protection service for scam centers?
No, no, I don't see. I mean, for example, EO, like the Three Brotherhood, they have tracked down, they have destroyed, but I have heard some rumors like post 1027, some group they they say, okay, you are allowed to open small centers which doesn't scam the Chinese people.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't say like it is like big scam centers, like small scam hassles that are open, which doesn't scam the Chinese citizen, but they scam the other people. That's what I heard. But at the same time, some of the EOs that are neither involved in revolution, that are not even have peace treaty with SAC, some are in the middles who are doing nowhere. And we are also hearing they have given a lot of space to these scam centers under them. So especially I can say SSPP is one of them. Like they, but I can say SSPP is doing that, because Shan State, Shan politics is always been ruled by Southpaws. And SSPP, the regional control is always been controlled by different military leaders who allow different business. So I can say SSPP allowing it, but the regional commander know that they are protecting it, right? So I would not claim SSPP doing it or protecting it, but I could say SSPP have this scam center in their region. In our recent report, when you go details, go around, search like where the new places. So SSPP has it, PNO have it, right? Like BGF, we know in Saudis like Myanmar they have it, but yeah. So, yeah, I can say some EU have it, and most PGF have it. But at the same time, we don't heard of PDF and UG protecting. We don't have any of it. But some of the PDF who ran from there, who don't want to fight anymore, who try to come to Thailand or China or Thailand or other places, but they can go, and they can even go back home because they are PDF, right? The military know them, so they don't have a choice. So for their lives, for their difficulties, some of their how to say in English, the soldier, the PDF who ran from their battalion, they joined to some security forces in the BGF in scam centers. Some of them, yeah.
So the deserters.
Yeah, deserters, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the end point here is to say that scam centers basically by definition have the patronage and have the defense of an armed organization.
Yes.
In all cases. And so then let's look at 1027 as we're building up the history here. So if we look at 1027, so quick recap for those who somehow missed it. That was a major offensive by the Three Brotherhood Alliance, and one of the members of the Brotherhood Alliance was the MNDAA. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the MNDAA is very heavily Chinese, and it was much in the interest of China for scam centers to be shut down at the time, and the Three Brotherhood Alliance did successfully shut down a scam center and released, from memory, I think 30,000 people. Is that correct?
Yep.
So that moment appeared to be a major turning point where in the scam centers, where it seemed that China was actively supporting EAOs, EROs in taking over the territory where the scam centers were operating and shutting down the scam centers, releasing the victims, and potentially even repatriating the kingpins to China to face criminal consequences. It does not really seem that became a systematic sweep of scam centers. In fact, your report specifically mentions that this is ad hoc crackdowns, that this is not an organized, centralized plan. So what happened? Because it looked very much like they were on a roll. They could start hitting multiple scam centers, shut them down, send all the victims back, and this would send the scam industry back by months, if not by years. And it doesn't really seem to have picked up a lot of steam.
Yeah, that's true. Because like these scams are resilient. Like you have to understand that these guys, the criminal networks, they are big networks. Like they all cross Southeast Asia. So when they are cracked down in the Philippines, they move to Cambodia. When they are in Cambodia, they move to Burma. And now some of them move to Cambodia again, and some of them still in Myanmar a lot. I mean, yeah, and some are like huge big groups in Laos. So I mean, like they are international transnational crime networks. So we have to understand they are big and they are really resilient on their plan. So for example, when they are cracking down the Laukkai, yeah, the Four clan is gone, but the Four clan is responsible. Yeah, they do have scam center. They own the company, some of them, but there are so many corporate companies that are working with them. Literally flee to Tachileik, to Myawaddy. So some of it, like the SAC help, like some of the scam bosses fly from Laukkai to Tachileik with the choppers to different location to repatriate from the MNDA crackdown. So they have this different connection of how to flee from this area, right? And at the same time, I have heard like like 600,000 yuan, 600,000 yuan per one scam boss fleeing from Laukkai to Tachileik or Laukkai to Myawaddy. That's how they charge. It's around 84,000 USD.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. So that's the average price of people who are fleeing from these, the scam bosses who are fleeing from Laukkai, right? To Myawaddy, to Tachileik. And this business was not only run by the SAC. this MND also did that. Like they help, if they ask to some of the scam boss and say like, okay, if you want to run, you have to pay me this money, and we will, or you have the other choice, go to China and get detained. They gave them two choices: either pay and run or go to China. So we can say like the people who literally detain are people who can pay, like small scammers, right? Like maybe company manager or low level manager. The bosses are all not there. The bosses are like run already.
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
It's always the way.
Yeah, it's always the way. So
but so on this point, I think it's very important to us to make the difference, because you're talking about the resilience and fascinatingly, you're talking about the scam centers moving internationally, because of course they can. They're criminal organizations. They don't care about borders, but the police do. But the question is there a willingness among EAOs, PDFs, even the SAC? Is there a willingness to shut down the scam centers? And the only reason the scam centers exist is because they can move across the border? Or is that willingness not really there? Because it also sort of feels like, you were saying, well, some of the smaller armed groups will say, well, you can run a scam center, but you can't target China. It almost feels like they're not actually dedicated to shutting down scam centers. They're more dedicated to maintaining good relationship with China. And if China is not interested in calling one organization to say, hey, I will give you weapons and money to shut down the scam center, then that organization is not motivated. What is the accurate description here?
Yeah, it's based on different interests of like what. So you have to understand, right? So I don't see any PDF running their scam center. Yeah, that's not happened yet. That's the contrary. Like you have to like it is not happened yet. But think about this, right? So if you are drug growing, you need you need a kind of acres of opium, or you need a industry to generate the drugs, and you have to sell it. And on the way, you could get detained by any force. So this is more difficult business. But in business view, if you have scam center, it's better than getting tests from the people, right? People are already suffering, like everybody difficult. For like scamming the Westerners is a good business, because I mean, it's if you think that the test is difficult now, the drugs is not also that much work anymore. So scam is a money printing machine. Like you get the money without doing any major like oppression to your people at that point. At some point, you have to understand that like it is what it is. You have this longevity of supplies coming from this small business that you earn a lot. You earn a lot of money. So some of the EO might think that is also a money printing machine for them. Like if they keep doing that, even though if they don't need to offense the China, yes, because if we don't attack China, okay, we would scam the West and we get the money. Why not? I mean, if PDF are not doing that because they still have the moral of like we have to serve the people, right? They are fighting for the revolution, but at the end of the point, like the funds are not coming, the people are suffering. We are not sure if they do that. I mean, like no offense, like revolution group might need to accept this because we don't have other choice, because we don't have money. Like because of now the US get hugely impact everyone, and this is one of the maybe one of the source of the money for many groups. But it is what it is for if you think of business purpose for the armed group.
Yes.
That's what I feel. Yeah.
And look, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, it's unfortunate, but it makes a lot of sense. But so the long story short then is that you're saying that there is not actually a genuine desire to shut down the scam centers because EAOs, PDFs, even the military, SAC, whatever, they would say it's not our people who are the victims. It's someone else who is the victim. And so it's not worth it for us to expend the effort. It's not worth it for us to shut down the scam centers, especially if, as you say, they're collecting a tax off the scam center. Which
Yeah.
makes pragmatic sense. I mean, it makes sense.
And at the same time, for example, like Srikoko, right? Like I heard like Sochitu don't allow any Myanmar citizen to harm. The rule is simple. You can do whatever with the foreigners, you can punish them, whatever. But if you punish the Myanmar citizen, you can report.
Yeah.
So that's mean like, yeah, this is for my people. You can do whatever you want with the foreigners. That's
Which, yeah, it's
Srikoko,
something
yeah.
we've seen before. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, so let's focus again on those resiliencies that you were talking about. So one of them obviously is that they can move, but these scam centers are huge. Like as you say, they require protection. They require acres of land. They require a major infrastructure investment, not only into the buildings, but also in having the internet connectivity, having the computers and the phones and the tablets to do the scamming. And they require the major movement of thousands and thousands of people illegally across borders. That seems like it's a very, very expensive and very difficult thing to do. And you seem to be talking about it as though, from the perspective of the scam operators, moving the operation from Myanmar to Laos or to Cambodia or to the Philippines is relatively simple compared to continuing to deal with local enforcement agencies.
Yep. I mean, yeah. I mean, we don't have that much in Philippines, but some scam center, as far as I know, is still operating in some places. But because they need the lawlessness of the region and the territory that are difficult to control, especially you can see the border area like Myawaddy,
Hmm.
like Laukkai or Mongla, which is also the border to China, which they mostly target the territory which are on the borders. For Golden Triangles on the borders, the Cambodian scam centers which are along the Vietnam west borderline, southwest borderline. So you
Yeah.
can think is they need a not only they also need the supplies, right, coming in from different places. So but you have to understand. So in our group, we try to understand this into different layers. We have scam centers, small scam centers run by 5, 10, 20, 30 people. You can say it's scam centers,
Yeah.
and we have this high security compound, which means we have some BGF. You have these walls, the buildings, and still Myanmar citizens are allowed to move in, move out in those territory, So
Yeah.
it's only high security. And we have another one called mega scam compound, like Kiki Park. Those are
Yeah.
mega, yeah. So not people are not allowed to go in, So for that part, uh, I mean, the resiliency of these scam centers are, they already established the connection relationship with all these territorial government, like BGF groups there. And for example, in Laos, it's the same with these Laos, like the black, the king casinos. Like, I mean, these groups, like they have this connection, and I mean, they already they have like this long term relationship with these territorial military groups, and that's how they could establish compounds. For small scale compound, you can move. It's so easy to move. Like it could be in, so it could be in. It could only need maybe 30 computers, one two sky. What is that? The Starlink internet, And small electricity, maybe generator, they can operate as small scam centers in everywhere in Myanmar, right? Even in central Myanmar if they want to. I think that's also happening in Mandalay, around Mandalay, right? So it's happening in Mandalay, it's happening in Yangon, maybe in some buildings. Also, one of the famous one is the the Palais condo. I don't remember the condo name that was demolished in the during the earthquake. And I also had so many Chinese scam people who are living in that building get killed, and they don't have any data because they are illegally come to Myanmar. So I mean, they are everywhere. Literally, small scam centers. We can even track them. I don't know where. Literally, because they could be everywhere. But for mega super high security, they need certain government to work with them. I mean, not government. I mean, the military group that rule the area. Yeah, they have to work with them. So that's the level of scams, right? And also, which scam they are doing is important, right? Big butchering scam is the most common one, where you can see like all this relationship, and they will do the investment and butcher them with the cash. That's majority scam. But there are also other people are more and more resilient, like work from home job, like online gambling scam became so prominent. Like people can work from their home just to filling the bill online, like customer service to these gamblers, and the website will scam the gambler. You only need to work for them, or they also have like graphic designer, like those are different
So
companies.
let's look at these, because that's interesting, because we discussed this with Jason Tower, and when we spoke with him, the main scam, like as you say, is the shajupan, right? So pig butchering scam. Yeah. So that one, the Cliff Notes version for anyone who missed that is you have someone who strikes up a conversation with the target. They express that they have financial difficulties. If the target offers to help them with the financial difficulties, they refuse that offer of help. And then later they come back and say, well, look, I fixed my problems. I fixed it through this crypto investment. But because you offered to help me, you're very kind. I want you to have access to it as well so that you can receive the benefit. And then they coax them to invest more and more money into a fake crypto portal, which says that they're getting a great return on their investment. But if they try to take their money out, they realize that their money's being taken. So that was the pig butchering, and that was an enormous problem. But so part of this evolution, which is one of the reasons it's so good we're having this conversation now in 2025, so we can look at the way that the scam centers have evolved over the last year and a half. You're saying part of the evolution is they're now moving towards these gambling scams. So can you go into a little bit more detail about how they work?
So note on that, like gambling scams are so it's like a website. Some of them will legally, come out as an advertisement in every website. Like they are oh, this is like casinos. These are like we call it 500 online games where you can pay your money and you play. But these games are now like evolved in different level. So you add as a chatbot and you chat with the player online. But and all these websites are from different countries. So especially in Cambodia, most of the Myanmar people who are working in Cambodia in scam centers are now working for the South American website, especially Brazil, Argentina, Bolivia, all these all these like South American, Central America, countries. Like they will kind of like chatbot. They will put their cash in like with the Visa card on the payment side, and they will play online, and the user only might win like 10% or 5%. 90% are lose on the gambling side. But it's so addictive, right? Some people play. I heard like some of the PDF even playing that with it. So it's like literally a scams, but it seems small money. But if you have so many players, it gives you a lot of profit, right? At the same time, some of the so they have this they have department, right? They have graphic designer who will do graphic online advertisement, and they have these salesperson who are girls online on Messenger, go on different people and say, "Oh, you want to play this game? This is game is playing high." She talk with people and she will give this game website. People will
Yeah.
play with her and they will top up with her. Yeah, that's one part.
Mm.
And they have these bosses, the people who are work from home, especially. I heard like the whole Tachileik, like 60% of scams are online gambling scam. Like everybody
Wow.
work there, and even some of the Myanmar celebrity have their own gambling website.
What?
Like celebrity like online personal, right? They
Yeah.
will go on online and they will play the game and they say, "Oh, I'm winning a lot," because they are admin, right? And then they have their own website, so people will play there and they will lose, right? But I mean, they are also the scam bosses. Like, you know what I mean? People can start their own business now. If I want to start now, I can go and ask some of the people who already have the code of how to build up this website, and they will just build me in 3 days. I will invest the money there. And then I will hire people to do this same job. I can do the online gambling scam from my home easily. That's how much it is easy. They already have these different people who can build up website. So that why it is happening is also one reason, right? So many Myanmar technician who already have this online knowledge doesn't have any job in Myanmar anymore. So they all jam into this job because this paying a lot. Like, yeah, they earn like some earn like 20,000, 30,000 baht, 10,000 baht. There's like, like in our report, we also have some, like they say like, oh, work from home, 10 lakh, which is 8,000 baht per month for Myanmar. It's a lot of money for Myanmar people who, who are struggling. So it's a lot of money. So you have to understand it's like everywhere, literally. Like people can do it from everywhere, from your home. This business, you only need to control the website and people will play on you. You need to hire some people who will promote all these advertisement. Even advertisement, you can register in Google advertisement also, right? In some website, right? So not
Yeah.
Google, I don't know so how to call it, advertisement in the website. So people will see this advertisement like Shopee, Lazada, same on like
Yeah.
some website page, and they will click on, they will get to it, and I mean, they have already like chatbot phrases, right? Like when the people from Brazil send like, "Oh, I want to top up 10,000 pesos, whatever," they will update for them with their phrases already ready, or say, they will send
Wow.
it and they will update. And most of it is like legit website, but 90% is win by the businessman, 10% or 5% only win by the, yeah. But the also that when you're talking about the pig butchering, it's no more like this. Pig butchering is become more and more professionals targeting. They will they will not target. They will not randomly go online on website and start talking. No, they will not do that. They will go to Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups where you have certain people working on certain issue. For example, okay, uh, uh, environmental science. Girls will go in with the Asian girl picture. She will ask questions. She will post. People will reply her, and she will start talking with people who reply to her, discussing about this issue, that issue, and then she will come in and later, "Oh, I'm doing this business. I earn a lot," and they start have a relationship, and then the pig butchering starts. So they
Of
don't
course.
randomly target people anymore. They target people with specific, because the Chat GPT, you can ask any question and they will answer you with a bunch of information. So you would just copy paste in your chat box and chat with the victim, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, the use of
So,
AI, yeah.
so it's crazy because I mean this is something that we obviously saw in West Africa as well. I mean Nigeria was the most famous, but of course places like Cote d'Ivoire were just as deeply involved in online scams. And when you have no economic opportunities and when you have an uncertain situation, you turn to these things. So you have people who already have the skill set. They know how to make a website. They know how to communicate. They know how to scam, and they don't have jobs. What are they going to do? And I think this opens us up to the next sort of line of inquiry, which is this incredible phenomenon of people in Myanmar voluntarily going to the scam centers, voluntarily seeking employment in the scam centers because they don't have alternatives. Can you explain, like, do these people know what the scam center does? And are they being treated just as badly as the people who were trafficked illegally from foreign countries?
That's the thing, right? So first point is like why they moving out. So as first post 1020s, post coup, we don't see that much of people going out, right? Only people who has like political targeted by the military of their political activism, they will go out to outside of Myanmar. That's
Yeah.
how it is, right? So the scam are not that much populated at this point. But one of the main reason that all the young people in the are running at, the main reason is the conscription. Since the military conscription, people don't have a choice. I mean,
Okay.
nobody want to go fight in front line. Nobody want to die for a military regime who is oppressing you. At the same
Yeah.
time, if you go out from the country, you need a passport, and passport is not easy anymore. And even if you are trying to get out from the airport, the airport does not allow you if you are around 18, 19. You are not allowed to go on a plane anymore. So people don't
Yeah.
have a choice, right? So okay, so they choose illegal migrant to Thailand, but at the same time, the Thai have this difficulty of registering Myanmar civil citizen as a migrant worker, like pink card or the CI books. Those are so difficult for Myanmar citizen nowadays, and so much catching from Thai government, also from Malaysia, right? So, okay, I can go Thailand. It's difficult now. I can go Malaysia. It's so difficult now, and the legally to migrant to these places are also difficult. Even if you go illegally before, you can try to get a registered pink card, and you are easy to get to the legal status in Thailand. Now it's more and more difficult. So people who doesn't have that much money think what's the third choice, right?
Yeah.
And the choice is only the scam centers. You get a protection, you get paid, you can send the money to your family. If you work well, you get really good pay, so you can at least send the money to your family who are struggling. So and the employment, the business, the inflation in central Myanmar is crazy. Like everything goes up 3 times than before, or 2 times, right? Like
Yeah.
a bottle of Coke 500 jet become 2,000.
Yeah.
Like this level of inflation. So people just doesn't have any other choice. So all the young people choose like, okay, I will go to these scam centers. But at the same time, people who has the language capabilities of Chinese speaking, Burmese speaking people get more opportunities to join these scam centers, especially from Shan State, right? People who can speak like northern Shan, who can speak Chinese, they can choose scam centers for a better opportunity. So they have good connection there. So they always say, "Oh, my boss is good. My boss doesn't punish me." Some of the
Yeah.
bosses, if you have a good boss in some companies, you get a good condition living. But
Hmm.
if you wrongly go, if you don't have any connection, you don't speak Chinese, you are likely to have a really difficult situation. Especially in Cambodia, recent report you can see like, oh, there are so many Myanmar citizens who get punished, killed. Some are losing, some are missing. This happened because they don't speak Chinese. At the same time, they don't have connection. But they, even though they know it is camp center, they don't have a choice, so they go there. So that's
Yeah.
the first part of what it is. But at the same time, the scam centers know this situation, and they try to uh, evolve more, right? Same sense centers if you go inside scam center, at least for 3 months, 2 months, you don't have to walk. You have to train. You have to train how to scam, how to write the phrases, how to psychologically manipulate peoples. So
Yeah.
they bring in new young blood who are willing to learn. Let them become scam people, quicker and quicker, and then they are get into the system. Some of them, they know they are doing bad, but at the same time they don't have a choice. So
Yeah.
this is what is happening.
I mean, that's really upsetting, but it's also very strange because what we were hearing before was obviously these terrible, horrific conditions from the scam centers, and we've seen leaked footage of people being beaten and electrocuted and tortured, and we've heard reports that these people have been killed in the scam centers, raped in the scam centers, or they've been sold to drug trafficking operations, organ harvesting operations, sex slaving operations, and so on. So we're hearing all of the worst types of crimes and offenses being committed by the scam centers, and yet you're saying that in those cases when someone is going to, let's say, a Myanmar scam center, and they are lucky enough to find a scam center with a less psychopathic leadership, they actually are receiving a salary. They are receiving living conditions,
Yep.
and even have the possibility of promotion and getting better and better jobs.
Yep. Like one of the contact I have is like she do the Shachupian. She also a model. She can speak well Chinese.
Yep.
She can speak some English. She earn like 60,000 baht per month, which is around 2,000 USD per month. That's a good payment for a Myanmar woman.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that is very solid payment, actually. So
Yeah.
it's weird because I've heard these stories as well. I've heard of people saying, "Well, I'm going to go to the scam center so I can support my family." And
Yeah.
my immediate question is, when these people go to the scam center, are they free to leave the scam center?
Yeah, I mean, it is based on the boss, right? If you met the quota, it's fine. For example, if you are working, so is most of the scam center work with the contract. For 2 months of your work, during the training and all these things, you are not pay anything. You have to pay back the scam center of your travel or everything that you have been paid
Ah, okay.
with your trafficker and everything with the Asia. For 10 months, 10 to 8 months, you have to work. You have to work well. If you meet the quota every day, if you can scam well, you get promoted and you get paid. But you can get out quickly like this. You have to give at least 2 3 months to apply that you are exiting, right? And then for 1 year contract you have to do that, and then you will after 1 year you can get out. I mean, some of it is like this, but if you go to a crazy scam center, I'm not sure that's the case. If you are because the scam center have to pay a lot to the traffickers. That's the
Yeah.
problem, right? The Asia they have to pay for their flight. I mean, for international they have to pay more, right? So that's why they don't release that, because it will show the minus to their financial, right? So if you release them quickly, so yeah, not all scam centers are. I mean, all scam centers are bad, but, but some scam center treat their make their people happy, and they have rule and regulation in whole like it's literally a companies. You can say they are
Yeah.
companies, right? In reality, they are companies. So they have got guidelines of what you have to do, you can't do it. But I mean, some are really bad companies. Some companies have
Yeah.
these rooms of torturing rooms, right? But some companies doesn't have it and give you more opportunity. And if you have more connection, they can
Yeah.
blame you. But at the same time, most of the girl who can speak Chinese become like a how can I say it in Chinese? It's like a mistress of the boss, right? And some of the
Ah,
girl, right?
okay.
And so they get opportunity, they don't get punished. They have this
Yeah.
connection of bosses with bosses, so and they can go to one companies to other and they don't get punished because they have this different connection they build up
Yeah.
around their community. But some of the but they still treat women as objects in this compound. If you talk about the gender wise, they are really a terrible place to a woman to work on. They have these abuses, these small rooms. They have to work in small rooms, like all males, females in one small room, kept together. Sometimes sexual abuses, rape
Yeah.
happen, and some of them rape and get abortion, forced abortion. I mean, all crazy stuff happening everywhere, right? But I mean, it's a terrible place. But at the same time, people don't have a choice. My country doesn't have a choice, and that's
Yes.
what it is, right?
I mean, it's horrific, but it's important for us to understand what's going on. It's important to understand the motivations behind it. But it's this very strange conflict between looking at this thing that is clearly evil and that is being run in a cruel and oppressive way for the exploitation of innocent people, and at the same time seeing it as also one of the only options that a lot of people have, and from their perspective it is a lifesaver. It's something they wouldn't have any other way. And it's a very strange contrast to have to sort of think about and to have to understand. But looking at it from a bird's eye perspective now, we've been focusing on the scam centers themselves and the people who live in the scam centers. But what is the impact that the scam centers are having on the Myanmar economy? Myanmar is a country that I've always described it as a rich country with very poor people, but the overall economic activity in Myanmar is not that high, and especially not since the coup. And for an industry that you've described as being minimum $37 billion, what sort of impact is there of such an economically prosperous industry in a country that has been economically depressed since COVID?
I think is is a exit for some of the people who live around the scam centers. Some, I mean, some got exploited, some got difficulties, but at the same time, some earn a lot, right? Like for example, the food vendors, the meat production. I mean, they consume a lot, right? Like these people. So there's a huge window for some local markets to be developed more and earn more than before. But at the same time, you have to understand, like this industry come with an inflation. So whenever you sell $1 or one jet, 10 jet, 100 jet outside,
Hmm.
it costs 300 or 500 jet inside the scam centers because that's how the business run is run with the inflation of yuan or baht,
Yep.
right? Like yuan or baht. So everything is expensive. For example, Tachileik is more expensive than Mesai, the Thai side, because
Yep.
most of the scams there, because the inflation is there. So I mean, the people earn a lot in those places. At the same time, they develop, like they build the people. If you go to scam center, we can see like there are lots of land confiscation during the like Shikoku territory, right? They have land confiscation, like all these things happening, land grabbing, everything. But at the same time, the villages around these camps center, we can see their development. Even on map, if you go on Giga Earth and if you see around the Moai River, within 2022 to 2025, 2022 2025, the villages around seems developed, more buildings, more development, more colorfuls, more cars. Not only on Myanmar side, but also on the Thailand side, you can see it. Even small
Hmm.
villages, because there's a development there. That's how it come in also, right? Development project for tourism, but in reality those are scam centers. But I mean, that's how the impact is. But the problem is what will happen when it will falls, and it happens in Mongla, in Pensa, in Laukkai, when the scam fall, the inflation doesn't go down. The rent of a shop, it only like the 5 to 10,000 yuan is 30 to 60,000 yuan during the scam era, right? The time of the fruition of scam era, everything is expensive, every food is expensive. But when the scam fall, the price still there, and people can't afford it anymore because the business is not doing well. Nobody is buying, but the price doesn't go down,
Yeah.
and that's how it is. Yeah.
And so, okay, so this is an interesting thing. So the question is, are scam centers actually causing economic growth and development in their immediate surrounds, or is it more just the image of economic improvement that is not actually able to compete with the rising inflation?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because it's based on the territory, right? Like if yeah, I mean, you can see the development, the physical, material development a little bit at some point. You can see it. You can deny it's happening around the area because people earn money through different like logistic jobs or small chores, small jobs. And some places like I mean some scam centers they also need people who work for chores, right? Like cleaning and everything. So people get jobs, like the villager get the jobs inside. Some get security job inside. So I mean, yeah, you
Yeah.
can say is immediate surrounding they have some development. But we would but it's a time bomb, right? When it falls, the region will become like a desert again, like in Mongpan, in Mongla, around Mongla area, Mongpiat
Yeah.
area, like all these camps that it become like a desert, literally, like no one there, like a ghost
Wow.
cities, like yeah, big building, everything closed down, small group of people. Before it was like a village, and suddenly it became a town in overnight in 2 3 years, and then everything shut down and it became like a ghost town. So
Are you talking about Mongla up in northern Shan?
yeah, Eastern Shan Mongla, right?
Oh, Eastern
Around
Shan. Like that used to be a hub for a lot of cross-border criminal activity.
yeah, but I mean, still the casinos are open, but I mean, not much alive as it is before
It's incredible.
because of the scam. Yeah, so it's you can say it's like a time bomb. If it's developed, it is, but if it's fall, yeah, you can save the town. You can save
Wow.
anyone. Yeah, that's the thing, right?
That's okay. That I mean, that's incredible. So then, so the obvious question becomes, as we're sort of coming to the conclusion here, is what can be done, because this is a bit more nuanced, right? When we first started looking at scam centers, when we first started really investigating this phenomenon, the emphasis is just saying, well, these are evil things, these are terrible things. The people working within them are either criminals or victims of human trafficking and enslavement. And the objective of the scam center is to take money from innocent victims, right? So very obviously and very clearly, these are bad entities, and it is good that they're being shut down by EAOs or whoever else is willing to invade and attack. But now with this discussion with you, there's this extra element where we say, well, yes, these are evil entities and evil organizations, and they treat people cruelly, and they're built on suffering. But for many of the people in Myanmar, the movement of these scam centers represents the movement of economic opportunity, and it represents the potential for an income when you can't take care of your family. And for surrounding villages, it represents an influx in, whether the people are slaves or not, they need to be fed, and the local farmer can sell his food. It's looking at these evil things as drivers, in a sense, of economic growth is and opportunity is very, very perturbing. It feels very dissonant. But this now obviously raises the question: if we do go in and we shut down a scam center, as we should, is there going to be this negative wave that is going to hit the local communities who depend on those scam centers? Are we going to see a lot of people who are there voluntarily who are now going to say, well, I've lost my job, I've lost my income, what do I do? Do we have to be thoughtful of this aspect when we start looking at the question of shutting down scam centers?
Yeah, of course, that's the main part, right? That's why we also think, right? People just think like, okay, oh, we relieve so many foreign victims, but nobody know what's the impact of what has happened afterward, right? Some people also first of all, this is all because my country govern the military junta is is the main problem. The regional governance problem is the biggest problem that is forcing. So even though how much we try, the scam will come back again in come back at every places of Myanmar. Like
Hmm.
they will have this resilient until we demolish the system of this oppressor who has been like letting these criminals go around. But at the same time, what is the other opportunities for the people who got the chance, who are working there, right? Some of
Yeah.
them, like who got cracked down from Laukkai, they moved to Myawaddy quickly, like in 3 days, 7 days, they moved to Myawaddy. They say,
Yeah.
what the other job? I don't know any other job. So the job opportunity is big thing, but at the same time, this is not only the responsibility of Myanmar. This is not only Myanmar issue. This is
Of course.
Southeast Asia issue. It is the world issue. You know, if if they are becoming more resilient, or the scam operation are becoming more and more resilient than before. So if we don't give opportunity to the young people of Myanmar, I mean, it's so different. There's no coping for that. But at the same time, the border countries like Thailand, Malaysia, China, right? They have to give the legality of opportunity for Myanmar migrant worker to work there, to give them an open window for like, okay, we will accept the migrant worker, we'll give them a legal card so they can come and work, so they don't go to these camp centers and do the other things, right? And the problem
Yeah.
is not only the Myanmar problem, it's the whole world problem, and
Yes.
we have to understand that. And the opportunity of Myanmar youth to go to other places legally and work is the I think is one of the exit for many Myanmar to abandon this scam work. I think
Mm.
like giving legality, easy way of legality migration to other country, like accepting immigrant from Southeast Asian country is also one job, like one thing that can kind of I can say a quick response to current scam issues, because yeah, more and more will go there because yeah, everybody afraid of conscription, nobody want to fight. So what's the other choice? Give them job, a better job, not scam centers. and
Yes.
and it cannot be done in Myanmar because Myanmar is fighting. Is an all out conflict area. And I know, I mean, internationals, like some country might not want to accept the immigrants, but at the same time, if you don't do that, the scam will scam your citizen. Sooner or later, you'll be targeted. Your country will target it at the same time, right? From these scam centers. So, yeah, that's the only option, as far as for a sudden quick response. But for so we have to and also know that like internationals have to pressure these scam centers who are visible, right? Like Shwekoko,
Mm.
KK Park. We have to demolish those like hyper security scam. Everybody can see it. Nobody demolish. That's the problem, and that has to be gone, and that has to be responded by so many uh, go- government in a proper way, not taking the political advantage of Myanmar political advantage. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's also the one part we have to tell. Yeah.
And I think that's totally fair and totally reasonable. But here's the complication that comes in. From my understanding, since we are talking about the whole of Southeast Asia and we're saying this is a regional issue, from my understanding, when we have a country like Cambodia, who is so dependent on scam centers that I think, it beggars belief, but the number that I was quoted was something like 40% of the revenue comes from scam centers, comes from this type of illicit activity. The country is so dependent on scam centers, they will never turn around and start shutting them down. Is it fair to say that as long as we have even one country that is willing to host these scam centers, is willing to accept their money, then the phenomenon is never going to go away. And like a disease, it will always be able to come back and reinfect countries that have already gotten rid of their scam centers if they let their guard down in the future.
Yeah, that's what our team discussed on. It's like a whack-a-mole, the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will always come up, but yeah, it's so difficult to demolish if a country accept make it a revenue of a country. I mean, but there are also ways to tackle if we know what we can do, we have to still do it, right? But at the same time, it is all about rule and regulations of a region or territory, right? If you want to, you can demolish the, for example, like KNU might not accept the scam centers that the BGF is accepted, but why don't we support KNU to demolish it? But there's no conversation on that level. Like nobody talk
Yeah.
about. Yeah. So I mean, that's a huge kind of uh, 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 talking that we have to keep going on, find a solution as soon as possible. But the Cambodians, I think maybe Cambodian also think the way like it might help their territory more develop and get more big roads. That's what they might think. We don't know. Or they might have a rule that they are not allowed to punish Cambodians. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also one
Possible,
part,
yeah.
right? Yeah, right. Yeah, you can. It's like a literally similar scenario of Taliban growing opium in Afghan. So
Yes.
so
I mean, it's very similar. I would point
Yeah.
out that in our conversation, it's become obvious that it is very similar how the drug trade
Yeah,
works and how the
yeah,
scam center trade works.
yeah, 100%. It's like drugs. The problem is like for drugs, people have a alternative solution, right? Okay, don't grow drugs, grow coffee. Okay,
Yeah.
so what if we demolish scam? What should we do?
Yep. Exactly.
That's the question. That's the biggest question part, and that's what nobody talk about. Everybody want to demolish them, but nobody want to know after what is the post scam crackdown for the people
Yeah.
who live in the area. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's probably like the biggest question, because we don't want to fix one problem just to deal with another problem. You would ideally fix the problem and then have a better situation as a result. So is that something that anyone has a solution for? Do we have a plan to say, look, you're working in the scam industry. Well, as weird as it is to say, you have sales experience, or you have IT experience, or you have skills that we can help you use to get a real job that is
Yeah.
legal. Like, is
Yeah.
there an option?
Yeah, that's the biggest option. That's the option, right? We have so many intellectual groups working in scam center who could be work in nation developments or other developments or other part. There are huge opportunities, and I think that's also the one of the option for the solution to giving job to these tech people who know what to do. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, there is at least some vague idea of what we can do
Yeah.
to help these people.
Yep.
Uh, so I think that's the probably the most positive note that we've had all day. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but this discussion I think is really important because as I often say and as I often tell the guests, it's great to discuss things that are happening in Myanmar. It's great to look at these problems, but we have to have these revisitations periodically. We have to look back at the situation and say, okay, is it still happening? If it's still happening, has it changed? Is it better? Is it worse? Is it different? Do we have to approach it and attack it differently? Are we still trying to use the solutions of 1 or 2 or 3 years ago for a problem that has evolved and developed and become more resilient? Exactly in the same way that we would have to treat a disease that evolves over time and we need new vaccines and new medicine to deal with it. So I'm very happy that we're able to have this conversation. We're able to see how the scam center situation has developed and evolved, and I'm grateful for the insights that you bring. And once again, I want to remind the audience of the name of the study. The study is Illicit Economies, Exploited Lives, Responding to Human Trafficking and Abuse in Myanmar's Scam Compounds, which again, at time of recording has not yet been released, but hopefully will be released soon, and we will add a link to it for people who are interested. This was done in partnership with Knowledge for Democracy in Myanmar, K4DM. And before we end the episode, as we always do, I just want to invite you as the guest, if you have any message or any thoughts that you want to share directly with our audience, any message for people who are interested in this issue, or any message for people who are working in NGOs, policy development, governments, please, I want to give you the floor, and anything that you would like to share, anything you would like to say, please take this time.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. My main concern is there's like a 3-4 kind of. The first part is your closest people could be get scammed or could be trafficked anytime. Even you are working, like some of my close colleagues who are working in CSO, who know about scam, who know about people, but their relatives are get trafficked to scam center quickly. Even they know them. So you could be get scams anytime, anywhere. At the same time, they are more and more prominent these days. So that's to watch out to share more information, to give more knowledge of, to share the information of what is going on, and be careful to give warning to everyone around you, to your loved ones especially. And sometimes it's so difficult to get them to take back from if they get trafficked, and this is so hard work. Is sometimes it could lead to you can retrieve your loved one anymore. So that's the situation. That's the first message for everyone. Who be careful. They are out there. That's happening, and it could be anyone. And be careful and save your loved one. The second part is there are studies of people who focus on internationals get trafficked to people, but our team we usually focus on also on like Myanmar civilians or people of Southeast Asia who has less voices because there are less articles covers on them. So we also we will also publish more insightful notes in coming months, and I hope we can work more on what we could advocate on the policy makers, especially like internationals. At the same time, governments who are interested in issue, they have to also focus on these scams works, which that the problem is not only for Myanmar, it is also for nationwide, worldwide. At the same time, they have to understand like the only solution is to take out the regime who is letting these scams work in Myanmar. Yeah, thank you. That's it. Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Given the importance of the topics we cover, it's my firm commitment and guarantee that our podcast feed will never sit behind a paywall, and that all of our episodes will be freely available for all to access. However, just because the episodes are free does not mean there is no cost with producing them. Truth be told, it can sometimes be a bit of a challenge to keep afloat from month to month, and sometimes our limited resources prevent us from taking on the type of content that we'd really like to pursue. So, if you found today's episode of value and would like to help us continue to produce more interviews just like this one, we would greatly appreciate a contribution. You can offer up a small recurring donation through Patreon or PayPal, or explore our other donation options by going to insightmyanmar.org/donation. We also invite you to consider stepping up your level of support by becoming a member. You can learn more about this by going to insightmyanmar.org/membership. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Oba yarananda dayananga yaranaya dayanam boda yaranam